The reason anglers are obsessed with big fish. Because the meat quality of the fish is not good, and the price per pound is very low. But I still ended up making $10,000. And it only took half a day. Others, that is, envy cannot come. The tuna fishing went on for a few days. The first place winners all earned $20,000. The last one has $10,000. It's really easy money. Dave's fleet at 6 a.m. already fishing in the sea. But in this ocean, and Paul exists, although the two are now in competition. But they were still there to send messages to each other. It's just they don't seem to be getting anything. In which case Dave had an idea. That's who gets the tuna first. The other person wants to treat you for free. Who got the heaviest fish? I get a drink for free. When Paul heard this, that is hurriedly agreed to come down. It's probably pretty boring fishing here. To distinguish the two Daves, I think we could call him a spiced egg. That's not a bad name. But the guy's in a negative mood right now. Why do you keep missing it there? A good life at home. Lying on the couch, drinking wine. Look at the TV in front of you. The way you do it. Not so good for the crew back there. Joe and Jason are still hard at work. Otter team at this time. There's another whale in sight. Why is this stuff so common now? I thought it was kind of rare. But OTT didn't care. Whoever has it has tuna nearby. All he sees now is money. After all, he didn't catch it last time. He returned home. He then contacted two other teams. They are Jack and Bob, trying to get some information from them. But while he was out there trying to find out, the fishing boat is running out fast at this time. This startled the people present. I didn't realize I was still trying to find out. You have a tuna. So early for dinner. You know, the bait's only been down for 5 minutes. The fishing rod is dry bent. Then suddenly there was another accident. Fishing line on the other side. Almost got wrapped around the shipment. Good thing OTT was there to help. Did not let this accident happen. So Jarrett can keep the output steady. After 10 minutes of pulling, tuna were also brought to the surface. OTT wandered aside for a moment. I put in right away, though it struggles in there. But you can't beat 4 hands with 1 punch. I had to be tied up on a rope, hanging behind the lonely drift. After waiting for some time, he quickly pulled the fish up. The fish looks disfigured. Fortunately, it didn't affect his price. Make sure it's 80 inches. Quickly began to return to the port, ready to wrap up the day. Dave's fleet is pretty laid back. Even let him start. Fantasize about dinner tonight. Listen to him say steamed lamb, steamed bear's paw, steamed deer's tail, roasted duck. Damn it, it's making me hungry. Paul suddenly began to ask for information. Turns out they didn't either. Just some mackerel and herring. The whole person is happy. But they only got off the phone a few minutes ago. Their instruments made a noise. Those of you who've seen a few episodes know that. It's a sign that a fish is about to bite. Sure enough, the 2 men came out. Then something happened to the fishing rod. Jody quickly grabbed the fishing rod, but I almost got pulled down. Were it not for his strength. We're about to have our first surprise of the season. Human lives that can't be seen, even though he's out there trying to hold on. But I still can't get the rod up. If it wasn't for the strength of tuna, it's intermittent. There's a real chance this fish is going to run away. But Jody's strength, and he's been bled dry by tuna, just kept calling for help. Good thing there was someone next to him. Quickly took over. Looks like the sea game worked after all. Even the strength of the fish. But he's still pulled into view. And that means we can catch them. Just need to pull up a little bit. You can kill them with a javelin. With a splash of red. The tuna is still moving. Just one more shot. When it has no strength to follow. Quickly took it to the stern and tied it. But when they were there celebrating, Paul's boat suddenly appeared nearby. This makes the opposite person to envy. What took so little time? I managed to get one. Don't look at what they're not saying. But must be hard inside. It's dinner after all. The fish measured 77 inches. I just don't know how much it weighs. I wonder if we can get rid of the booze too. The line over there from the pickled eggs. There's a little disagreement. It's a little weird though. I can't believe I'm going to bed with spiced eggs. What? It's a habit of being squeezed. It sucks to see him there. Jason was even cursing in there. Oh my God, that's so sweet. Wait, there's something wrong with that. That's how you make him drink medicine. After the spiced egg explanation, He's got a heart condition and needs surgery to fix it. And drinking medicine can prevent the disease from getting worse. That's why Jason put it away. If you don't take your medicine, you may never see spiced eggs again. No, you're in a good frame of mind. I can't believe you're playing with it. OTT then came to the dealer. Rick didn't say anything. Just pull the prep up. Start taking a sample of this fish. And cut away the useless stuff. Weigh in. Looks good at 203 pounds. Honestly, I feel this meat. The color just looks good. But this fat is not so good. Only Rick gave us $18. I really don't think it's worth it. But that earned OTT $3,654. Paul team on the other side. A little anxious at the moment. Dave over there has already caught a fish. But there's nothing on your side. Not even a hint of tuna. I mean, I have to buy dinner now. But he didn't want to buy a drink. So he decided to change his position to an underwater mountain. See if you can get anything out of it. As he lays the bait again, sink it down to 112. And that's where the most tuna is. It didn't take long to put it down. The line starts flying out. Paul ran quickly to stop the boat. Lance is stabilizing the fishing rod. Paul sat idly by. You're not a capitalist. Stop the boat and leave it alone. Just walking back and forth on the side to cheer up. When Lance was there pulling, it feels like the fish is a little heavy. It makes them fantasize. That fish down there weighs a pound more than Dave. The whole thing was just laughing. Through Lance's hard work, it managed to bring it to the surface. With a javelin flying, quickly tie it down, so it can never go home again. Although this arrest took an hour. But I got a 79-inch fish. It was a thrill to my heart. And he just happens to be a little bigger than Dave. Looks like they're going to get a free drink. Dave has come to the immediate front. After his questioning, this time they didn't bring a big shipment. But it's also a nice fish. The fish sample was quickly removed. And after removing the useless things, it was weighed immediately. But it's only 175 pounds. It's not very heavy, but if the price is high enough, that's a lot to earn. Rick passed under the sun's observation. Only $16 was paid. That's not very high, but the final price, it's also very good. Taylor was under this competitive pressure. I painted the hook again. Looks like the last time he did that. Thought that would be a good way to do it. After he hooked the herring, it was immediately thrown into the ocean, hopefully on one of these hooks. One thing can be bitten. Although he is now on the instrument, there are a lot of marks, but there's been no harvest. After waiting another half an hour, the fishing rod suddenly responded. Marissa perked up instantly, quickly came forward to take over. It's just a little weird. Why is Tyler dancing in the back? Watching Marissa get splashed over there. After changing the position of the fishing rod, and Marissa has a safe counter position, but it didn't last long. There was a float ahead. It was right next to the fishing line. The two quickly grabbed it, threw it on the other side of the boat, though there were no surprises. But it gives the tuna a reprieve. Good thing there are two people on the boat now. After 2 half-hour shifts, it also pulled it to the surface, even though there's a float next to it. But it doesn't matter much now. Just make sure the tuna doesn't dive. We can make a successful arrest. After a dozen minutes of Marissa trying, I was turning red. But let the fish run to the float. Taylor panicked in an instant, quickly took over the fishing rod, again a few minutes later, and managed to get it to the side of the boat. Let Marissa take over again. He picked up the javelin right away. Keep looking for opportunities on the side. With the camera, a vibration. The tuna is also starting to slow down. Marissa was tying the rope. The fish was found to be unusually large. Got them both under control. Celebrate a little. They pulled him on board. Looking at this big tuna. Definitely, since the beginning of the season. The biggest one that came up. The two men were hurriedly taking measurements. It turns out to be 111 inches. I can't believe it. Paul after a long voyage. And came to Rick. And he knows it too. Dave and his bet. It was a hurry to get to work. Kinda can't wait to know. Which one of you is buying drinks? After completing all the pre-work, it's time to weigh the fish. Looks like Paul got a free drink this time. That's exactly 10 pounds heavier than Dave. There's wine to drink, though. But if the fish isn't good enough, that's a little expensive today. The good thing about Rick is he's a down-to-earth guy. Gave him $17 a pound. Just let the two make 3,128. Although it's a treat, but there's still free booze. This made Paul very happy. Jason is having a birthday at the moment. It's just a little rudimentary. Spiced eggs made him put up a birthday balloon. Looks like this guy got a little unlucky. I don't know if it's Jason. Just finished celebrating his birthday. We have a fish on the hook. Several people were immediately busy, afraid the fish will run away. After all, the other teams, they've all been caught. I haven't gained anything yet. But don't forget to fish here. Not necessarily tuna, but sharks. This makes the egg people very nervous. But we don't know what it is yet. Jonah didn't dare let up. In this environment, I can't believe Tuna got a visual range. Only it took an hour. Jason quickly took it. Look at those two faces. The strength of this fish is not small, but it didn't do any good. Or by two people to get to the surface. No, why is this fish suddenly working again? And went back to the bottom of the sea again. Did I have to do it so suddenly? Look at how strong it is. Two people also chose to avoid the edge. It was kept like this for 3 hours. And the fish finally lost his power. The look of the fishing line going out also eased down. Joe quickly started, passed him in a circle, in a matter of minutes, pulling the tuna to the surface. But how did the fish get the strength again? It went down to the bottom of the sea again. It's been almost 5 hours. I haven't got the fish yet. It looks like the fish is pretty big. This excited everyone present. Forget the constant yelling. To keep the fish from rushing again, quickly threw out the javelin. After a successful hit, tie the rope right away. I didn't expect a fish. It took over 5 hours. So they can catch him. As they pull him aboard, we measure it right away. Always wondered how big the fish was. Even though the fish is only 91 inches. Not the biggest this season, but this is their maximum. Taylor then came to the dealer. Matt knows the size of the fish. The whole person is also instantly excited. This is definitely a huge gain. If only it was fleshy. Well, they definitely made a lot of money today. This one in particular weighs 562 pounds. A few people hurriedly looked at the final result. If the price is $18, that's up to $10,000. But Matt took a look. It turns out the meat is not very good. The color is just fine, but he still gave it 15. Don't look at the low prices. But I also made $8,000 for both of them. Looks like all we have to do is catch something big. There's a lot of money in that, too. The seaside harbor at this time. Dave and Paul ran into each other. But these guys are kind of bad. He said he had over 300 pounds of fish. I'm just a little speechless. That's a lot of exaggeration. If Paul hadn't found out the weight, they have this real look on their face. And I believe them. Dave's didn't say anything when they got caught. Direct and honest discussion. I don't know what to eat tonight. It took more than an hour. The egg also came to Rick. Sell today's harvest. I thought it was going to be nothing. Getting ready to go home for the party. It turned out to be a bonus. They don't care about anything either. Straight to the final meat inspection. Rick was going to say something, but it's clogged with pickled eggs. Just let him tell you the price. Looks like he's really anxious about this party. And Rick was really awesome. I just quoted you $18. A few people after a little celebration. The return voyage began immediately. As the next day came, Spiced Egg's daughter had a party today. It was supposed to be yesterday, but the Spiced Eggs came back too late. Can only put it off until today. And he was ready to help. Get her daughter back for good. Looks like Spiced Eggs are just tough on the outside. A daughter slave, actually. Well, that's all for this program. Give it a thumbs up, and let's look forward to the next episode.